story time with Magical Mrs Hutchins. How are you today? Are you well? You are? Fantastic. Well, today I thought I might share with you a rather fabulous story called The Story of the Little Mole Who Knew It Was None of His Business. And it's by Werner Halsarf and Wolf Earlbrunch. So, if you're sitting comfortably, I shall begin. The story of the little mole who knew that it was none of his business. One day, the little mole poked his head out from under the ground to see if the sun had already risen. Then it happened. It looked a little like a sausage, and the worst thing was that it landed right on his head. "Oh, how mean!" cried the little mole. "Who has done this on my head?" But he was so short-sighted he couldn't see anyone around. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the dove, who was flying past. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she answered. And plish splish, a moist white blob landed on the ground next to the little mole. His right leg was splashed with white. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the horse, who was grazing in the pasture. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this." And flumpety plump, 5 big fat horsey apples plopped down within a hair's breadth of the mole. He was very impressed. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the hare. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," answered the hare. And a rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat, 15 round little beans shot past the mole's ears. He saved himself with a daring leap. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the goat, who had been dreaming a little. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she replied. And a plippity-plop, a pile of toffee-coloured little balls tumbled onto the grass. The little mole found them almost appealing. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the cow, who was chewing the cud. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this." And kerplosh, a big brownish green pancake flopped onto the grass just next to the little mole. He was very relieved that it hadn't been the cow who'd done something on his head. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the pig. "Me? No, how could I? 'Cause I do it like this." And plop, splat, a little soft brown pile fell onto the grass. The mole held his nose. "Did you do this on my—" He was going to ask again, but then he came closer and he saw only 2 big, fat, black flies. And they were eating. "At last, someone who will be able to help me," thought the mole. "Who did this on my head?" he asked very excitedly. "Keep nice and still," buzzed the flies. There was a short pause, and then, "It is clear to us that it was a dog." Finally, the little mole knew who had done the business on his head. Basil, the butcher's dog. Quick as a flash, he climbed up onto Basil's kennel, and bling! A tiny black sausage landed right on top of the dog's head. Satisfied at last, the little mole disappeared happily into his hole underground. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's story, which was the story of the little mole who knew that it was none of his business. I quite like this story. I think it's rather funny. I hope you do too. Anyway, hopefully you'll come back and join me for story time again very soon. So until then, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye!